What if I told you that one of the poorest nations on earth just figured out what the richest still struggle with? Roads that don't flood, don't crack, and don't depend on foreign aid. In the heart of West Africa, a quiet revolution is laying more than asphalt, it's laying sovereignty, innovation, national pride, and the world. It's finally watching. But this isn't a story of handouts. It's a story of a captain, a $500 billion plan, and a nation building itself. From the soil up, welcome to Burkina Faso's road revolution, and trust me, you've never seen anything like this before. When I first heard whispers about a 5,000-kilometer road initiative in Burkina Faso, I brushed it off. Honestly, I pictured a few dusty tracks cleared of shrubs, not a sweeping transformation. But seeing the scope now, it's undeniable. This isn't minor cleanup, this is a tectonic shift. What's unfolding isn't just a civil engineering feat. It's a reimagining of what progress looks like in West Africa. The ambitions don't stop in the Sahel, they stretch across the nation, reaching for every neglected corner. This is leadership with a blueprint, and it's bold. Forget the tired narrative about African infrastructure being stuck in neutral. Burkina Faso is rewriting the script, not with handouts or half-hearted partnerships, but with homegrown vision. At the center of this metamorphosis stands Captain Ibrahim Traoré, steering a $500 billion national initiative that's laying more than asphalt. It's laying the foundation for sovereignty, innovation, and pride. But these roads, they're not your typical highways. They're symbols of motion, of unity, of purpose. For decades, the region was defined by broken roads and missed opportunities. Now Traoré is flipping the story. No more overpriced imports from foreign contractors offering slow progress and shaky results. Under his leadership, the country has devised its own road-building formula, a cutting-edge blend of volcanic ash, repurposed plastics, and laterite soil. Developed by local engineers and university minds, this hybrid asphalt defies the elements. No more seasonal washouts. Travel is faster, vehicle maintenance costs are slashed, and the roads actually last. And here's the kicker. Everything is being done locally, from the machine operators to the welders to the site managers. It's the people of Burkina Faso who are building the country's future. Even the solar lighting and advanced drainage systems are the brainchildren of Burkinabe students. It's not just infrastructure, it's empowerment. While some skeptics mocked and international donors dragged their feet, Traoré pressed forward methodically, confidently, and now the world is watching. Neighboring nations are taking notes. What was once seen as improbable is now a template. This isn't about waiting for the world to take notice. It's about proving that self-reliance can build what others said was impossible. Consider this. Since gaining independence in 1960, Burkina Faso only managed to pave about 3,000 kilometers of road. That's nearly identical to what Botswana had in place when the British departed. But Burkina Faso remained gridlocked by stagnation until now. Under this new era, the country has set a game-changing target: 5,000 kilometers of paved road every single year. No outsourcing, no dependency. The government purchased its own fleet of heavy machinery. The labor is Burkinabe, the vision is Burkinabe, and the pride, it belongs entirely to the people. This is more than construction. It's a psychological shift, a declaration that Burkina Faso will no longer wait to be uplifted by others. It will rise on its own. What's happening isn't just progress, it's a revolution, and it just might inspire the rest of Africa to follow the same path. What if the roads of tomorrow weren't just built, but digitally envisioned, tested, and perfected before a single shovel hit the dirt? That's exactly what's happening in Burkina Faso under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. His administration hasn't just changed how roads are constructed, they've transformed the way they're imagined. Gone are the days of dusty, hand-drawn blueprints and rough terrain guesses. In their place, drone-assisted 3D mapping, a leap into precision planning that puts Burkina Faso ahead of the infrastructure curve in West Africa. Utilizing LiDAR sensors and GPS systems, drones sweep across the rugged landscapes in real time, producing ultra-precise digital replicas of the terrain down to the centimeter. Elevation changes, flood zones, erosion-prone areas, all are mapped with surgical accuracy. This isn't flashy tech theater. It's strategic foresight. With this detailed topography, engineers no longer guess where roads should go. They know. These maps are even integrated into AI simulations, which modeled the next 30 years of climate impact. The goal: build roads today that won't buckle under tomorrow's rains or crack under shifting soils. And the results speak for themselves. Flood-resistant, long-lasting roadways that defy the region's history of potholes and seasonal destruction. And here's the kicker. Drone mapping slashes survey times by 75%, accelerating approvals and fast-tracking construction. Critics call it overkill. Burkina Faso is quietly crafting the most accurate rural road network on the continent. It's a $500 billion digital revolution, silently embedded beneath the pavement. No foreign playbook, no imported expertise. Traoré and his team are writing their own rules and drawing their own maps, quite literally. For the first time, in decades, remote villages now receive regular truck deliveries, including food, supplies, and medicine. Hope isn't just driving in, it's being drawn into the very ground. In high resolution, but beyond the drones, the tech, and the asphalt, lies a deeper transformation, the human one. Perhaps the most powerful element of Traoré's infrastructure. Revolution is this: Burkina Faso's roads are being built by Burkinab hands. Through a bold national mandate, 85% of all labor on these projects must come from local communities. This isn't just an economic plan, it's a movement of empowerment. Picture it: young men in the sun mixing engineered road material, women welding guardrails with sparks flying, teenagers watching their parents help carve the future with every swing of a hammer. These aren't just construction sites, they're classrooms of dignity and purpose. In the past, lucrative infrastructure contracts were handed to foreign companies who brought their own labor force, reaped the profits, and left the country with little more than debt. That story ends here. Traoré's team launched Project Roots, a community-based construction initiative that does more than hire, it trains. Locals learn engineering, heavy machinery operation, safety protocols, and modern construction techniques. These are not just short-term jobs, they're long-term career foundations. Each finished road comes with a public celebration, not just for the road itself, but for the people who built it. Workers are honored, given bonus pay, and often offered roles in permanent maintenance teams. The streets of Ouagadougou don't just carry vehicles now, they carry the fingerprints of national pride. It's contagious. Children dream of donning hard hats and contributing to their country. University interns gain real-world experience, side by side with rural builders, and while skeptics scoff, a quiet nation-building renaissance is unfolding. While the world debates climate action in air-conditioned conference halls, Burkina Faso is turning its trash into triumph. One of the most innovative and least talked about shifts in the country's infrastructure campaign is its bold integration of recycled plastics into road materials. That's right, water sachets, food wrappers, and decades of plastic pollution are now being melted into progress. Under Traoré's leadership, local startups collaborated with engineers from Ouagadougou Tech to design mobile plastic processing factories. These units travel with construction crews, shredding, melting, and blending plastic waste with bitumen to create a more flexible, resilient road base. It's a win-win. Costs drop by nearly 40%, and plastic pollution is tackled head-on. The environmental impact: massive. City drainage systems are less clogged. Rivers once choked by plastic now run clearer. Wildlife that once suffered from ingested waste is beginning to recover. It's not just infrastructure, it's at scale. This approach has even birthed a new industry. Hundreds of jobs have been created for plastic collectors, sorters, and machine operators. Schools and small businesses are now receiving contracts for organized plastic collection drives. It's sustainability woven into the economy, not as charity, but as national strategy. While others sign climate pledges, Traoré rolls up his sleeves and pours plastic into pavement. He's proving that sustainable development isn't a luxury for the rich, it's a responsibility for the determined. And under his guidance, Burkina Faso is showing Africa and the world how smart, scalable innovation can reshape a nation. Would you like this turned into a narrated documentary script with visuals or split into social media posts for maximum impact? For nearly 30 years, the dream of a rapid response emergency medical system in Burkina Faso simmered. Quietly, a promise postponed, a vision deferred. Now, that dream has taken its first breath. SAMU, the Emergency Medical Assistance Service, has arrived, not as a luxury, but as a necessity finally fulfilled. Its launch is a landmark moment in Burkina Faso's healthcare journey, a testament to the government's growing commitment to ensuring that no life is lost due to a lack of timely help. At the core of this life-saving network is the SMU Regulation Center, a 24/7 command hub designed to ensure that whether you're in a city center or a remote farming village, emergency care is just one call away. The number is simple, in line with Captain Ibrahim Traoré's vision. Connects you to a trained healthcare operator who assesses the situation completely free of charge. Dispatch is more than policy. Ambulance with medical professionals on board, bringing the hospital to the patient. No birth should die waiting for help. Before Traoré's road revolution, traveling to a hospital in rural Burkina Faso could mean a harrowing journey over rocky trails or muddy paths. For pregnant women, sick children, or accident victims, it was a race against time, often lost. But that gamble is fading fast. Thanks to new, smooth, weather-resistant roads, travel from remote areas like Bobo-Dioulasso to district hospitals has been drastically reduced. Ambulances that once stalled in flooded roads or collapsed bridges now reach patients in record time. Health outreach programs, vaccine trucks, blood donation vans, and mobile testing units can now venture deep into areas once cut off by geography. Traoré's team didn't just build roads for cars, they built corridors for survival. Collaborating with healthcare workers, they mapped out regions most in need and prioritized routes accordingly. What emerged is not just infrastructure, it's a national circulatory system, quietly pumping medical access into every corner of the country. Since this effort began, some clinics have reported a 60% increase in patient visits, and maternal mortality in road-linked regions has dropped by 40%. In towns like Zorgo, people no longer wait for the dry season to seek care, they simply go. These aren't just roads, they're lifelines, and Traoré knew it. In the past, traveling from a rural village to a city in Burkina Faso felt like leaping across centuries. Ox carts were often the only mode of transport, and isolation was the norm. That's changed. Under Traoré's infrastructure plan, once forgotten, villages are now only 45 minutes away from bustling markets, not 5 grueling hours. Farmers who once sold their crops at a loss to middlemen now drive their goods straight to urban centers. Artisans from potters to leather workers are no longer boxed into their villages. They now participate in national and even regional commerce. These new roads are more than just transit corridors, they're economic pipelines. Rest stops double as pop-up markets, while bus terminals have been strategically built near cooperative warehouses. Mobile banks are following these routes too, bringing financial services like microloans and mobile wallets to areas that didn't even have electricity a year ago. But it's not just economic empowerment, it's cultural rebirth. Festivals, weddings, and student exchange programs are flourishing. Ethnic groups that rarely crossed paths are now sharing ideas, goods, and partnerships. What was once a fragmented land is now slowly knitting itself together, one highway at a time. Critics, who once brushed Traoré off as just another soldier, now face a different truth. This is strategic nation-building at its core. There was a time, not long ago, when even the announcement of a 5,000-kilometer road plan was met with skepticism. Many assumed it meant clearing a few bushes in the Sahel and calling it progress. Dust roads, empty promises, same old story. But Captain Ibrahim Traoré had a different blueprint. He wasn't aiming for minimal gains. He was chasing a comprehensive transformation. What he's executing isn't just construction, it's a challenge to every complacent and corrupt leadership model across the continent. He's not coming for people physically, he's coming for them intellectually, exposing decades of excuses through relentless results. And the impact is rippling. Where aid agencies hesitated, where foreign contractors overpromised and underdelivered, Traoré rolled up his sleeves and got to work, blending innovation with sovereignty, technology with tradition, and policy with purpose. From digitized emergency services to flood-proof roads, from plastic-turned pavement to nationwide healthcare access, what's happening in Burkina Faso isn't just development. It's a declaration that a nation, long overlooked and underfunded, is now shaping its own destiny with speed, skill, and soul. Under Traoré, Burkina Faso isn't asking to be saved. It's showing the world how to build. What began as an infrastructure project has now blossomed into a national renaissance, a powerful statement of what happens when a country stops waiting and starts building from within. In Burkina Faso, a quiet revolution is reshaping the nation, mile by mile. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, roads have become more than just a means of transportation. They are tools of liberation, platforms for economic growth, and symbols of true independence. And perhaps the most striking part of it all, not a single foreign contractor was involved. From the drawing board to the final brick, every aspect, planning, financing, engineering, was managed by Burkina hands. This is a domestically driven success story, crafted without the usual dependency on multinational firms or imported consultants. What outsiders once mocked as implausible has now stunned observers with its sheer efficiency and durability. But this isn't about short-term spectacle. Traoré's strategy is built to outlive politics. Roads are tested with the same rigor. As medical devices, drainage systems are integrated before a single wheel touches the road. Elevated designs protect against seasonal flooding, and robust shoulders prevent erosion. These are not vanity projects, they're engineered for real resilience. Each zone comes with its own local maintenance brigade, trained and equipped with digital tools to report damages in real time. Weekly inspections keep the network alive and accountable. A national audit board oversees road quality and publicly flags any signs of negligence or wear. It's a level of transparency rarely seen on the continent, and it's earning praise from organizations like the African Development Bank and independent watchdogs alike. What does all this mean on the ground? Fewer potholes, fewer breakdowns, less need for costly repairs. Small traders now travel confidently, knowing their routes are safe and consistent. For Traoré, this isn't the finish line, it's just the foundation. His team is already developing plans to export the model across the Sahel, positioning Burkina Faso as a mentor nation in infrastructure innovation. This wave of transformation isn't limited to logistics. The government has also introduced rapid health intervention brigades, mobile emergency response teams that are now able to reach people in minutes, not hours. These brigades represent a crucial link in Burkina Faso's healthcare system, filling the long-standing gap in pre-hospital care. But their success hinges not just on ambulances or medical kits. It depends on you, the citizen. Community support, civic responsibility, and national pride are essential ingredients. The government has laid the groundwork, but the public must help sustain it. Before this initiative, delays in reaching clinics cost lives, especially in rural zones. Today, smooth roads connect remote villages to care, making previously unreachable patients accessible. Health programs from malaria testing to mobile blood drives can now operate deep in the countryside. It's no exaggeration to say, these roads are saving lives. As the saying now goes in Burkina Faso, these aren't just roads, they're lifelines. What started as a domestic movement is rapidly catching the eye of neighboring countries. Governments in Niger, Mali, and even parts of Senegal are looking to Traoré's model, not because it's flashy, but because it works. Unlike one-size-fits-all blueprints imported from Europe, Burkina Faso's approach is scalable, affordable, and tailored for African conditions. With a playbook that includes local labor, recycled materials, 3D mapping, and continuous maintenance, it's no wonder international delegations are arriving to study and replicate the strategy. Talks of a Sahel infrastructure alliance are already underway, with countries pooling technical knowledge and manpower to duplicate the success. Traoré has offered to support this mission, even opening up training programs for regional engineers and project managers. This isn't diplomacy for applause, it's leadership through action. Even the African Union has acknowledged the movement, calling Burkina Faso a shining example of sustainable development. Traoré was once dismissed as an idealist, now he's recognized as a strategist, whose vision is rooted not in short-term gain but in generational impact. Every paved stretch in Burkina Faso tells a deeper story, a story of faith in local genius, a refusal to be dependent, and a belief that African solutions can rise from African soil. These roads don't just move people, they move ideas, dreams, and destinies. Here's the real message: if it can be done here, it can be done across the continent. This isn't just infrastructure, it's independence laid in asphalt. It's a lesson for every developing nation tired of false promises and fragile aid. Traoré is showing that sovereignty doesn't come from foreign grants. It begins with bold ideas and the will to build. Burkina Faso isn't just catching up, it's leading. So, if you believe in Africa's rise, in innovation born from necessity and nurtured by pride, share this vision. Because the future isn't waiting, it's already under construction.